against Italy is Dave Kilcoyne, Sean Cronin, Tyke Furlong, Alton Delan, Quinn Rue. Peter O'Mahony will be captain, Sean O'Brien and Geordie Murphy. And in the backs, Connor Murray, Jonathan Sexton, Jacob Stockdale, Bundy Aki and Chris Farrell, Keith Earls and Rob Carney. The replacements are Niall Scannell, Jack McGrath, John Ryan, Ian Henderson, Josh van der Fleer, John Cooney, Jack Carty and Andrew Conway.
Joe, can you tell us who's injured and who wasn't actually available for selection?
Yeah, there were a couple of guys who were probably available for selection, like the likes of Robbie Henshaw, but we've just decided to give him an extra week. He didn't have the opportunity to do quite the volume of running that would have best prepared him for the match, particularly if he was going to play at 15 or at 13, where a high volume of running is expected with the way the Italians play. Joey Carberry has a bit of a hamstring strain and wouldn't really have been available. It would have been too great a risk. Jack Conan just had a bit of abdominal tightness, and again, we could have pushed him through, but it's a great opportunity for Geordie Murphy at the same time. And then, there's a few other guys that are probably just rotated out, and opportunity is being offered.
Did you want to give Johnny Sexton more game time anyway, or if Joey was fit, should he have started?
Yeah, I think we probably would have started Johnny anyway, to be honest. He's had one game and 23 minutes since the Munster game, so he's had very little game time, whereas Joey has been really resilient so far this season and has had a lot of game time, and he obviously got the bulk of the game time in Edinburgh last week.
And what's your thinking behind the changes in the pack?
Some of it is just to offer an opportunity. It's to reward the effort that we've seen in training and in games so far. That's probably reflective of the Dave Kilcoyne selection, the Sean Cronin selection, the Alton Delan selection. He came onto the pitch in a pressure cooker. Really, we're up by 6 points and did. I think there were 3 outstanding actions from him that were really pivotal for us. So we're looking to him to provide a little bit more of that, and that gave us real confidence when he goes back to Connacht last weekend against man of the match, and his volume of efforts were really good. Quinn obviously did a great job for us in Edinburgh as well, and he continues, and Geordie has been training really well. So, across the board, those guys have earned an opportunity, and at the same time, it does offer us a little bit of an opportunity to give some guys a weekend off, the likes of Rory and James Ryan, Ken Healy. Those guys have probably had the most game minutes so far.
Was Jordan Armour fit?
He will definitely be fit next time. Next week he hurt his finger, just got caught in the fabric, and so we just decided that we'd leave him till the next match. So he's certainly very fit. The training meters that he covers are exceptional.
How excited are you to give Jack Carty a chance, and what have you liked about his season so far?
Jack is impossible to ruffle. We try to put a bit of pressure on him at training. It doesn't mean that it's all been seamless and gone perfectly, but if something does go wrong, he gets it right the next time. His ability to absorb information, to slot into the team, all those things have been really first rate. And again, he went back to Connacht last week, and I thought he was really good for them.
Joe, just in terms of Robbie Henshaw, is it frustrating for you that he's not available? Because I'm sure you'd like to give him another run at 15 and have another go.
Yeah, we probably could have, but we don't want to do a disservice to Robbie either. He hadn't had a huge amount of volume before he played the England test. We were in a different situation with Rob coming back, but Rob gave a lot of confidence to the players around him last 2 weeks ago in Edinburgh, and we also want to keep him going, because in the context of who's had game minutes, Rob Carney hasn't had much either. So for Robbie Henshaw, he's a known quantity for us. We know the quality that he provides, and we'd have no hesitation in slotting him straight in against France wherever he best fits. at the same time, Bundy has been really sharp at training this week, and I think he's gathering a bit of momentum, so we're really looking forward to seeing him go. And Chris Farrell, on the back of very little preparation, he's another guy who needs game minutes, but did really well, we felt, in Edinburgh. So, again, that's exactly what we want. We want guys going in and out as seamlessly as possible and still providing a really high level of performance.
Sean Cronin is a first Six Nations start. It's kind of incredible that 67 caps. It's a first Six Nations start.
Yeah.
What sort of different ways are going to be for him this week?
Yeah, look, I'm sure he's excited. He's trained well. Hopefully that gives him the confidence to step out and do a really good job. He will have the confidence that he brings from the 10 starts that he has had in different fixtures, but the amount of times he's come off the bench and been involved in really important wins for us, I think, why not bring that from the start? I think it's a great opportunity for Sean, and it's one that I'm hopefully will grab with both hands. The third test in Australia, we actually named him to start that test, which was a big test, a deciding test in a big series for us, and he picked up a very slight hamstring strain and just wasn't able to play that one. So it's not like he doesn't know we've got faith in him, and I think he's got confidence in himself to deliver.
Do you hope this game, Joe, will just bring kind of confidence back into the team again, this first opportunity?
Funnily enough, we felt we got a lot of confidence out of the last game as well, Edinburgh, in Edinburgh against Scotland. We know that they're a really good side, and I feel for them a little bit this week without Finn Russell, him having to go back and play for his club in France. That's tough, because I think he was in top form against us 2 weeks ago, and obviously they lost Stuart Hogg, but for us, we actually got some real confidence out of those first 20 minutes. You're up 12-3 against a team of that quality on the back of people have said maybe a fortuitous try, but we actually worked the overlap well, and we got the little bit of space in behind, and even if the pass didn't go astray from Tommy Seymour to Sean Maitland, I think we still have them under real pressure there. So, and then Johnny coming off, and then Finn Russell getting that intercept, I felt we showed some really good resilience to come back, and Elsie took his try well on the back of Joey's line break, and I felt we managed that game pretty well, considering we needed that result.
Joe, what kind of pressure can Sean Cronin put on Rory being a regular captain? If he has the kind of performance he's capable of?
Well, again, I'm sure that's his intention. As much as he's very team orientated, Sean, he will personally want to put his best foot forward. And to be fair to Niall Scannell, he'll be very keen to do the same thing, because 2 years ago he was picked on the bench. Rory got ill the day before the game, and Niall Scannell came on, and that was really his big step onto the stage. He played superbly in that game, and so 2 years ago he's just been in and out a bit since because of various injuries. But I think both those hookers, it's really interesting for us to have a look at. At the same time, they're up against the Centurion in the Italian kind of hard man of the front row in Girolini. I think that's a super challenge for them in its own right, and I'm sure that Lavotti, the way he scrummages, is going to make it a challenge for them, and Ferrari as well. So that front row, that's a great little probably challenge within the wider challenge of the match itself.
Joe, you spoke about an edge and an energy in the build-up to the Scotland game. How do you feel that's progressed over the last 10 days?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really good. There's a freshness. I felt we trained really well last Friday in the open session. The energy there was very much visible. And I think the challenge when you bring that energy and enthusiasm is to combine it with the accuracy required. And that's the real challenge. With the number of changes we've got, it will be a challenge. And I've no doubt they'll unsettle us a little bit at times. guys like Mbanda and Tuavaiti in the back row, they're very big, strong men, and I thought Stein was absolutely outstanding in that last game. So their back row power is going to challenge us physically, and I think they've got some super guys in the backs. I think Luca Marisi, he suffered an injury maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Until then, he was unbelievably good for them, and he's just getting back to that now. And the likes of Campagnaro, Padovani, Esposito, those guys are going to be a great challenge for us. So I think the team are looking forward to that, and hopefully that energy you described can be matched by the accuracy we need, and we can deliver a really confidence-building performance.
Joe, no change in the starting back, but the way the rest weeks have fallen, is there kind of less of a reason or less of an excuse to shuffle the pack, or does that play into your thinking when you're picking that starting 15?
Yeah, the way the weeks fall, they make it a little bit complicated because some guys now won't play for a longer period of time, and what we've got to do is keep them ticking over, keep them, their enthusiasm certainly doesn't wane, just the game rhythm, it's not ideal, and there's so many things in a high performance sport that aren't ideal that you challenge players to best manage. And so for the players who aren't selected this week, and I mentioned some of them, the likes of Ken and James Ryan and Rory Best, and other guys like CJ Stander will come back into the equation for the France match. Other guys, Jack Conan. There's a fair few guys who will be kind of waiting in the wings and really wanting to work hard to make sure that they're ready, even though they haven't quite had that continuity of game time.
Joe, it is a big blow for them to lose Parise. Like, obviously it makes their job a lot harder to try and beat Ireland.
Yeah, it does, because he's talismanic for them. I think young Negri is, I guess he's maybe picked up an injury as well, because I think he's exceptional. I remember watching him play for the under-20s a couple of years ago and talking to Alessandro Toncon after the game, and they were very effusive in their praise around him. So they probably, the old master and the young recruit not being in their back row. But as I mentioned earlier, it does still make for a very combative front row when you bring in Mbanda and Tuavaiti, particularly on the back of probably their form back rower, as good as Sergio is probably staying. So it will affect them. I've no doubt, because of the standing he has, the respect he has, the gravitas that Italian team kind of invest in Sergio.